Peace, on with the show. This time it's 11:23 a.m. Pacific on Saturday, What Really Matters Day, the 24th of August in the year 2013. And this is just random thoughts. Experts say you need to put stuff out there as soon as it comes to mind and let it take its course from there. So, probably different than what some of you that even tuned into this were expecting. Not going to get all biblical or holy on you. I'm going to be the same rational computer guy, thinking type of person that I am, and just put this out here. And it's basically just for me to resolve certain things that I go through because, like they say, sometimes you got to share your personal challenges to let people know that they're not alone in theirs. But sometimes people want something and they don't really know the full story behind it. And I guess everybody wants what they can have on certain types of levels. So let's go ahead and get into it. And I'll just start off with a random thought that I had, and I want to throw that out there. As a kid, under the age of a grown up, or maybe even a late bloomer, but as a kid, it's pretty understandable and a part of reasoning to expect some anti grown up behavior. That's just how it is when you're a kid, unless you're a goody two shoes, and that happens too. But I've had some anti grown up behavior. Having children, you see the same thing, so the thing repeats itself. When you're a kid, that's to be expected. But my question is, at grown up age, is it rational or feasible or something the wrong with grown-ups having anti-grown-up behavior? The reason I state that is because I had to catch myself yesterday and say, man, I really do feel like that sometimes when I put stuff that I'm interested in and thinking about. It tends to fall under the category of grown-up stuff. Young adults, we still young, but there's a difference. Like if I look at the behaviors of somebody that's a teenager or a kid, stuff that I'm interested in versus the stuff that they're interested in, it's got to be a difference, and it is. But what I'm noticing more and more often, especially with this social media trend, is if you really take a look at people who are maybe even in their 30s, just to give it a safe classification of a grown up. Over 30, you grown, but the behaviors of a grown up and a person that's like 15 or 16, there's not that much of a difference. And I notice a lot of promotion on these sites, social media, as popular as they are, and just the culture in general, that's just really popularizing of juvenile behavior. Like you're right back in high school doing the things that people in high school and maybe college age do. Popularity contests, really, really heavily focused on appearance, trying to be somebody. The list goes on and on. And I find myself having to kind of adjust my content and the stuff that I put out to fit into that, but it doesn't really work, so I have to stop and really assess what's going on because it's kind of like a conflict of interest. But this is pimphop.com, where at the end of the day we do work out our own solutions to problems and make the most effective use of the technology and make things work the way we feel they're supposed to work. So grown-ups and kids, there should be a difference in the behaviors, not so juvenile with the Instagrams and the retweets and the Facebook phenomena, and just the list goes on and on and on. But I think if you've even made it to this point, you can pretty much get the gist of what I'm saying. And I think an interesting scenario will show when, if you get around a group of people that behave in that same way, well, it kind of becomes the norm, and you can really lose sight of it until a person that's of grown up age might bring it to your awareness. And sometimes people kind of go the other way. But I think just through nature, human beings are supposed to grow up and evolve and graduate to higher and higher levels. That's just my personal opinion. But at the end of the day, I added the Antichrist element because I hear a lot of stuff about that on the internet these days. Antichrist, the Boogie Man, the Illuminati, um, all kind of people that there is to fear. Freddy Krueger, Jason, Friday the 13th, Michael Myers. I don't even know the new characters that are out now, but there's always some kind of person to fear. But just in general, as a person who has studied the majority of world religions, including Christianity and Judaism, I've actually read the Bible cover to cover on a couple occasions for myself. Just being the rational person that I am, and I want to make this statement for the world, it's just that I pretty much assess that when it comes to Jesus Christ, I can gather, and I think most people can attest, that behavior was that of a grown ass man. Not blasphemous, but just keeping it 1,000. At the end of the day, we can pretty much say that Jesus Christ, grown man behavior, a young adult under the age of 35, so on and so forth. But just blabbering off the top of the head and sharing random thoughts, if to be Christ-like or following the teachings of Christ, I think ultimately Jesus Christ would recommend that grown-ups be grown-ups and know the difference between grown-ups and kids. Be like God, which for the most part is the most grown-up of all grown-ups. But that's getting philosophical. Once again, we're keeping it rational, and I just want to open up that question because it is something that I have to deal with on a continuous basis, and I do kind of feel like a weirdo, but I say, but wait a minute, man, I really am grown, and something needs to be worked out. So I'm going to put that on the table. If anybody else might take some words from the wise and consider it in regards to the difference between your behaviors or our behaviors and behaviors of people that are younger, then it's a good thing. But yeah, like I said, grown-ups having anti-grown-up behavior, I don't know, something's fishy. And if anything with fish, gotta scale it, skin it, put a little cornmeal on it, and throw it in the pan and fry it before it gets spoiled. So I'm going to leave you with that. Just random, authentic conversation between us as friends, me, Rylan Branch, keeping it 1,000 with you. I want to ask if you feel there's a difference or if there's a connection between anti-grown up behavior and anti-Christ behavior, and is there a similarity between the two? Christ, grown up. Leave it at that and see if we can make it even further to the victory. Peace.